Israel. The Amalekites. That was on the way to the land of Israel. Once the children of Israel already entered the promised land, and they just entered from the east, from the river Jordan, people from the west, from the Greek Isles, called the Philistines, entered the land at the same exact time. You know what the meaning of the name Philistine in Hebrew? The invaders. Plishtim, biflosh, to invade. Interesting, isn't it? Every time somebody tells you that he's a Philistine or he's a Palestinian, he is basically saying, I'm the invader. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even think twice before he says it. Because you will know why Palestinians call themselves Palestinian, because of Philistines. And they don't even know that the Philistines were the invaders. It wasn't their land. Now watch this. What happened to the Philistines? They did not exist for too long. They came because they had no food and not enough rain on their islands. They wanted a place that has blessing. They came, and they just came just when the children of Israel entered the land. And guess what? God blessed the children of Israel and the land of Israel with so much rain and so much food that those Philistines were looking. And the Philistines were smart people. They brought with them a new thing that the Israelites didn't have: the iron. Israelites lived in the Bronze Era. The Philistines are bringing the iron. It's the newest technology of those days. Strong metal. And if you have iron, none of your equipment will break. None of your swords will break. None of your helmets and your armor will break. The Israelites really liked the idea that they can buy from the Philistines equipment made of iron. So what they did, and you can read about it in 1 Samuel chapter 13 at the very end, they started buying from the Philistines agricultural equipment, mattocks and axes and all of that. But what sharpens iron? Iron. And the Israelites, after 3 months, needed to sharpen all of their equipment. And they would go down to the Philistines, give them their equipment, and wait for the Philistines to sharpen it. And the Philistines realized, wait a minute, these Israelites really depend on us. Why don't we have a gladiator fight? We send our giant, they send theirs. Whoever wins gets to control the other. And they were absolutely convinced that they are going to win because they had 5 giants, not one. Goliath had 4 brothers, you know that. Right. So they're sending Goliath of Gath, and the guy is coming, and you know the story. Look at this little David. By the way, David is holding Goliath's sword, made of iron. And he cuts his head with it, and he lifts up Goliath's head, and he shows everyone, look, the head is up here, the body's down there, this man is dead. And by the way, he walked with his head for quite a long time. It's like a trophy.
Barbaric.
Do you hear much about the Philistines after that? No. David kind of had some things with him. After the time of David, that's it. The Philistines were defeated and did not show up in the history anymore. That's it. And after the Philistines came a wave of conquerors from the northeast, the Assyrians, and after the Assyrians came the Babylonians. And the difference between the Assyrians and the Babylonians is very simple. It is the Babylonians who not only besieged Jerusalem, but also killed the king's sons before his eyes, pulled the eyes of the king out, and destroyed the temple of the Jews that was built by Solomon, leveled it to the ground, burned down the city of Jerusalem, and pulled all those who survived and took them hundreds of miles northeast to Babylon. basically to destroy the nation from being a nation. That's it. They thought that if you uproot the Jews from their land and you send them far away, they will eventually disappear. What they did not know is that 70 years later, the great-great-great-great-grandfather of Ahmadinejad, King Artaxerxes, is allowing Nehemiah to go back, rebuild the walls, the city, and the temple.
Yes.
You should write to Ahmadinejad. Thank you. And so the Persians, the Farsis, the Persians actually allowed the Jews back. They acknowledge how important Jerusalem is to them and the temple is, and sent them back. But who came after the Persians? A young conqueror called Alexander the Great, who conquered most of the world before he turned even 30. I remember when I was 29, I thought, man, Alexander was around my age. Now I'm almost 40. I don't even talk about Alexander anymore. But I can tell you one thing, Alexander the Great died when he was 31.
Wow. Yeah.
He conquered most of the world as a young man. The problem was not with him, with those that followed him and those that inherited the kingdom, because they did the follow-up. He conquered. They tried to make all the region turning into pagan and worship the Greek gods. One of them was king, or the ruler called Antiochus Epiphanes, who actually ruled over the Jews and from Syria, and forced the Jews to bow down before the Greek gods. He desecrated the temple of the Jews. He killed a pig and poured the blood of the pig all over the altar in the temple, and basically brought almost an end to it. You see, for the Jewish people, you can do whatever you want to them, but don't ever touch their temple or anything that is sacred to their religion. And the minute he did that, that's it. A group of Jewish family called the Hasmonean family, the Maccabees, gathered together, and in the year 168 started BC, they started a great revolt, and within a couple of years, the Greeks were kicked